Hello there everybody, my name is Bloomer Brown and welcome back to Ballymoon Castle, where bright and early this morning you'll find me out mowing for the legendary silage harvest. And in fact, as you can probably see, I have been going for quite a while now. I decided that an early start was probably the best idea, and I managed to get rolling at about 5 a.m. this morning, but the sun has only really started to come up in the last little while, and nighttime footage doesn't really look especially great if you are watching on a mobile. The second thing you might be noticing, especially if you've been following the series up until now, is the fact that I'm doing round bales, which I said I wasn't going to do at the start of the series, partly because I thought the forage mix station only took square bales, where in fact it actually only takes loose material. Now I do have some ideas for that, which I will talk about when the time comes. So why round bales, you're probably asking? Well, it all comes down to time really, and how to best get this grass cut and off the fields. Now I was thinking of getting in an extra tractor and trailer to haul it out, much like we did with that field in the last episode, or else get hold of a forage wagon, but ultimately I decided to fall back on the tried and tested method, which may end up costing me a little bit more, but to be honest I am not all too worried about that. The most important thing is to get it all saved today, and once these bales are wrapped, it's a case that I can kind of take my time when getting them out of the field, rather than trying to rush through it and get everything done and transported today. Though I should say that I probably won't be leaving them here for long, as I'm kind of anxious to try and see if there will be time for a third cut before the winter comes in, weather permitting of course. And I suppose doing it this way does have the added benefit of allowing us to watch the tractors working together in the field, which is kind of a nice thing to do from time to time. And there we go, the first field is completed in record time. Well, there's still a little bit of baling to go, but I think we can safely start getting these machines ready for transport over to the castle grounds. And yeah, I think basically what I'm going to do is end up cutting here and join up with you once I reach the castle itself. And so after a quick drive up to the castle, we get everything unfolded and start mowing out around the castle grounds, which is actually one of my favourite areas on the map. And yeah, obviously taking a little bit of care going around that ditch, because I have been known to lose a couple of bales into that ditch, and it is a difficult job to retrieve them afterwards. Even more difficult if the worker decides that he wants to put the baler and the tractor into the ditch as well. So yes, Ballymoon Castle, which itself is actually a real castle in Ireland, and one that has an interesting story in the fact that it actually doesn't have a story. Historians kind of think that it is not an abandoned castle and is more of an abandoned building site, because the castle itself doesn't seem to have ever been completed. They actually don't know who it was that started construction of the castle, though it is believed to be, I think, Normans during the Norman invasion who started work on the castle. I'm not a huge history buff, but it does seem that before the castle was completed, the native people reoccupied the area
and kind of ask them to stop building their castle and leave, though I am assuming that this was a slightly more medieval affair. Anyway, yes, I have actually sped up my mowing speed just a little bit for this particular run because it is some flat ground, and yeah, this has the inevitable consequence of leaving the baler lagging behind a little bit. And because of how the code works, it seems that Follow Me starts to prioritize keeping the baler up with the windrower at the expense of not being able to unload a bale, which of course means that it is not able to actually pick up any more grass. So yeah, I end up switching over to the baler to take control of it and try to remedy the situation. And to be honest, I don't mind doing a little bit of baling every now and then, and it is kind of nice to see the footage of this, but we are on a kind of a tight time schedule, because even though there is no snow mask on this particular install, it is a case that the grass bales are going to be losing mass and rotting away on the map. So yeah, I kind of want to get it mowed and baled up and wrapped as quickly as possible. And with the large field completed, I cross the ditch using the small land bridge and start mowing around the castle grounds proper, which is a slightly more difficult job because of course we have the castle in the way, and there are also a couple of trees growing out around the back of the castle. And yeah, as you can see, the terrain is a little bit less forgiving around here as well, which probably will end up leaving a couple of bales in the ditch. Something that I'm not too worried about, but if they start to roll down into some of those trees and off the map, you know, it's going to make retrieving them just a little bit more difficult. So yeah, it is an absolutely perfect day for mowing. The conditions are ideal. And so what I think I'm going to do is, you know, do something of a small slow montage, you know, to let you sit back and relax. No music and no talking, and just let you watch the tractors work for a while. And yeah, I am keenly aware that mowing is not everybody's favourite job in Farming Simulator. I mean, we all tend to play this game for different reasons, and I personally enjoy the mowing, but yeah, I can understand that it might get a little bit tedious for someone who doesn't enjoy it all that much, and so I think that is going to be enough of that for now. So yeah, just this tiny little bit to take out, and yeah, I am making some very wide swings here just to make sure that everybody kind of has time to get their little bit done, and we avoid collisions in the field. So yeah, after this last little bit of grass, I'm going to basically get myself back down to the shop. We're going to return the baler and lease a wrapper so that we can get these bales wrapped in foil and ready to go for the winter. And in order to do the wrapping, I thought that I would use a modded bale wrapper, which I think is a McHale bale wrapper. It has been about 5 months since I recorded this footage, so it's a little bit difficult to remember exactly what was going on. Though it seems that I am having some problems getting this done. It may be a case that it is a square bale wrapper, though it does look like it should accept the round bales. And perhaps there is just something I am missing out on here. But I don't seem to be able to get it to actually pick up the bales and start wrapping, which is a shame because it does look like an excellent modded bale wrapper. So rather than waste any more time, what I decide to do is to lease out an Ursus and start getting our bales wrapped up before we end up losing any more grass out of them. Now, as anybody who has wrapped bales in FS knows, this is a really long, slow, tedious affair. And it's going to be even harder because of the number of bales that we have actually created today. A number that I actually cannot remember off the top of my head at the moment. So yeah, obviously I am not going to make you sit through the entire process of wrapping the bales, and instead sort of bring you progress reports as I make my way around. So yeah, taking a quick scan of the bales, yeah, it is pretty clear that we are already losing some grass from these things. Yeah, so these are down to about 3,900 litres or thereabouts. So yeah, seasons is of course taking effect and basically rotting away the grass bales on us. And if we left it till tomorrow or something to get this job done, yeah, it would probably be a case that there wouldn't be a hell of a lot left in them. So yeah, kind of important that I get them wrapped up today. And yes, I'm making my way around the field. The progress is, pretty much as expected. However, a little bit after 2 o'clock, we get a warning that says rain is on the way, which does have me a little bit worried. Because of course, if it starts to rain on these grass bales, it's kind of likely that we'll end up losing everything. Now, I'm not entirely sure when the rain is going to start falling, and typically we end up getting a warning well in advance of anything actually falling from the sky. But yeah, it does kind of set alarm bells ringing in my head just a little bit, and those alarm bells continue to ring for the next couple of hours as I continue wrapping up the bales, because yeah, the sky is admittedly looking a little bit dark and terrible. And yeah, just giving a quick scan to the bales as well, it turns out that we are still losing a little bit of mass from them. But it's something that we can kind of cope with. I think, not having perfectly full bales is, not going to be the end of the world. We have, plenty of silage to be getting on with. And speaking of getting on with it, yeah, this field is pretty much finished at this stage as far as I can see. I'm assuming that I've probably lost at least one grass bale somewhere out there. But yeah, it's a case that it's going to be left there if it is. So yeah, it is time to get ourselves back to the castle grounds and get those bales wrapped and hopefully get the job done before the rain comes in. And as it turns out, the rain is much further away than I had first thought. And yeah, since this is all post-commentary, I can reliably inform you that the rain actually ends up falling overnight. And yeah, we had quite a bit of advanced warning. And yes, it has been a really rather long day on the map, starting at 5 in the morning. It is now just a little bit after 8 in the evening, and yeah, I have been hard pressed to get all of these bales cut and wrapped in a single day. So yeah, well worth investing in getting the round bales done, because there is really no way that I could see myself having been able to, cut and transport all of this grass back to one of the bunker silos at the main farm. So yeah, not a hell of a lot left to do on this field. There are still a couple of bales to be wrapped, but I think I am going to end up finishing well after dark. And yeah, I may look into trying to get some of them transported tomorrow as well, though I think I did say I was going to be getting some cattle sorted out tomorrow, as well as taking a look at selling some sheep. And so yeah, I think at this stage I am going to take the opportunity to cut the episode here and kind of bring you up to speed in the next episode. And until then, I am going to say thank you very much for tuning in. You have been watching Bloomer Brown on YouTube, and I will see you next time.